can't be the only person that loves official Ultra Beast artwork. Like, this right here is absolutely fascinating to me because Ultra Beasts, they're dangerous, they're strange, they're weird. So getting a glimpse into their world, or also a glimpse of how they react in our world, kind of like what we saw with the Daisuke Club event, that there was that Pokemon mystery that showed a lot of the Ultra Beasts, and there was like Nihilego draining a kid's parents' life force. That's not traumatizing at all. We have Kartana just like slashing through freaking power lines and stuff. It's ridiculous how dangerous these beasts are, but that's why I love it so much whenever we can actually see the Pokemon Company's interpretation of them. I mean, we're starting to get a lot more of it, but I mean, that's like another weird thing, is like, we have the Pokemon anime now, we have Sun and Moon, we have Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and even then, I still eat this stuff up because I want more. I want to kind of figure out what's going on with them, but the clock is ticking. Because we have the Nintendo Switch Pokemon game soon, so what's going to happen with these guys? So what I want to do is I want to just kind of break down and review all of the new official artwork and then kind of transition the discussion from there. But yeah, look how wild all this is. Like, the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, whoever's doing their art for this one, they are really showing how crazy this is. Like, I love the art style right now. This looks like some high quality fan art, but no, this is official. And I feel like with Nihilego might have started to become one of the less interesting ones for me, at least with its Ultra Space. Because initially we were like, wait a second, Pokemon Sun and Moon, is this all Ultra Space? Is this the Ultra Dimension? Is this where all of the Ultra Beasts are coming from? That's kind of weird, because it just seemed like a random cave, but it's like, no, this is Nihilego's Ultra Space. It's not like we were underground and then above ground we had all the other stuff going on. It's even weird, like, it's kind of unclear. Even though it is pretty clear, it's like, oh, they come from their own different dimensions and stuff, but then how are they all classified as Ultra Beasts? Do they interact with each other? How do they work together like that? It's kind of crazy breaking all of that down. But yeah, with Nihilego, we saw it in the anime. We saw, like, we get to see Nihiligo's Ultra Space. So yeah, it's just this jagged, rocky, you jump from rock to rock and try to just not get absorbed by Nihilego kind of place. But all these other ones are still pretty cool. Like the prehistoric behind Buzzwole, I think since we get to see this in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon with its Ultra Space Wilds, I think it starts to make a lot more sense. We got the volcano. Feels, I don't know if I'm going to get this wrong, between like Jurassic, Triassic, or all the periods and stuff. But remember, back then, there was more oxygen, so bugs could actually grow bigger, and maybe that's kind of what the interpretation here is with the Buzzwole. That, yeah, you can have this just buff mosquito because it's actually in a land where, you know, there's enough oxygen to support this kind of ridiculous growth and stuff. But looking how they interact, you know, what's going on right here? Seeing Buzzwole, it seems to be more like, yeah. It seems to be more obsessed with its muscles than it is with actually, like, fighting and attacking others, but we kind of don't see that in Pokemon Sun and Moon, because Buzzwole, Pheromosa, they go and charge after Hala anyways, so I don't know where their aggression comes from, but sometimes they have, like, these really weird kind of motivations. I think that's also what makes them so dangerous. You don't know what an Ultra Beast is up to, and this is freaky. I need to check something here really quick, because when I saw this, I'm like, okay, I understand like Pheromosa's Ultra Space. We got cool gyms, we got rocks, it's in a deserty kind of area. We kind of saw that already as well, because in the Daisuke Club, there was just like that hiker, and then Pheromosa just like blasting across a desert or something. But is Pheromosa supposed to be that tall? I haven't looked up Pheromosa's size and stuff, so give me a second right here. Okay, so it's only 5'11". I was like a little concerned about them, like, wait a second, is Pheromosa actually like a 12-foot tall, beautiful beast that feels like some kind of strange fetish thing going on? Like, that's what I see when I see this. If you see, like, you know, an overly sexy, stylized thing that's kind of larger than average, I feel like it starts to get into some questionable territory right there. But it might just be the angle or something. That just looks a little off, and that was very menacing, very ominous, and that'd be absolutely I mean, a 6-foot cockroach is already terrifying as it is, but that would be even more terrifying if it was like a 12-foot cockroach or something like that. Celesteela. So Celesteela is one that we actually kind of know a bit, because it's so weird from what you expect from it. Like, I thought it was more about being needles and weird, but Celesteela is actually like a rocket boost Pokemon Ultra Beast thing, and it levels force, it destroys that. We see with some of the other art that's like flying, it uses its jets to just fly across the sky, and I honestly didn't expect that initially, which is why it was even more freaky when that's what Celesteela was like. And then we see it in its Ultra Space, it's just like this very sulfuric, corrosive kind of environment. It just looks like really strange aftermath. I don't know if this is like the byproduct of Celesteela just existing in there, or Celesteela is a byproduct of the environment. I don't know if it creates it or becomes a part of it. But yeah, that's just terrifying. Because Celesteela, that's a massive massive beast right there, and then it's just like, woof, boom. If it wanted to just incinerate and kill you, nothing is stopping it. And I feel like if Pokemon was a bit more of like a hardcore, edgy kind of series, we would see more of that, because all it has to do is just like, boom, cannons, and everything's gone. That's kind of scary. And then but it's a tank. So I feel like it's just balanced because of the way the stats have to play out. If it wanted to be, it could just like max out every stat. Right? That's kind of Celesteela right there. Kartana's Ultra Space. So this was actually a pretty cool one, because there was that theory where it's like, wait a second, I think we just got to see a little bit of Kartana's Ultra Space in one of the Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon trailers. Where's this? Is this its Ultra Space? Is this in the overworld? Are we going to have to free it? Why are there humans here? No, we did figure out all that stuff in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But yeah, it's kind of cool how the leaves, the trees, the flowers, and all that stuff, they did represent Kartana pretty well. And then now we can actually see the Ultra Recon Squad with their Poipole, kind of seeing what's going on right here. And I guess, much like paper floating in the wind, Kartana can be a docile creature, but if it wants to strike, whoop, gone, dead, just like that. So I wonder if like that's kind of some of the things that are going on with this artwork right here, as well as the development that we've seen in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Ultra Beasts aren't inherently dangerous. They're just like curious creatures that have no idea of this strange thing in front of them, much like we are to it. So while sometimes they do show immediate aggression, maybe they're only aggression outside of their Ultra Space. Like that could be it. Like they come out of the Ultra Wormhole and they're like, oh crap, I gotta fight to survive. You know, that's when it's just a survival instinct that kicks in. I think that was one of the entries that we saw on the Pokemon Sun and Moon website. That's like, oh, it seems to just have some kind of survival instinct. I think that was actually for Nihilego. It just doesn't have any will or emotions. You know, we don't know what these Ultra Beasts think. They don't really show off any emotion as well. They don't have much of a face. Like look at Xurkitree. How does it see? How does it do anything like that? But it seems to just be accepting of the trainer there, reading it maybe. Like that's kind of weird how that one breaks down. And then we could see all the other, you know, just Xurkitree in the Ultra Space. So this actually looks like the direct scenes from Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon as well, which is actually pretty cool. So kind of carrying it over from one media form to another and then expanding upon it. I think we might see that more in the anime, because what happens when you catch an Ultra Beast? Is it still wild, or is it immediately tamed like we see with most Pokemon that get captured anyways? Oh, dude, I didn't scroll all the way down because I wanted to make sure things were like, I didn't want to spoil myself. But there's actually Blacephalon art. That is freaking crazy. I mean, everyone looks happy. They don't seem like it's going too bad. And this is Pony Island. That is so cool. I'm actually a fan of that. Like you just kind of show up. It's like apparently there's been disturbances at Pony Island, and you just like look off in distance. Fireworks, and it's like, okay, it just wants to have fun. It just wants to entertain people, accidentally killing them in the process. So yeah, like there's a nervous, maybe that's a nervous smile, not pure enjoyment, but overall it doesn't seem like the worst thing. Stack Attacka again. Ooh yeah, the multiple Stack Attacka. So it just looks like a wall, doesn't seem to be bothering anyone. Could be okay. Just you know, that's what that dude's looking at. He's like, oh, okay. Just gonna be a little cautious here, but Stack Attacka doesn't immediately mean harm or anything. So that's and then we have Guzzlord. Guzzlord does seem to be one of the more aggressive boss mode kind of Ultra Beast, just the way that's been introduced in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Pokemon Sun and Moon, and just its devastating eating powers. So we've already seen this picture with the Naganadel and everything, and then Ultra Recon Squad like, okay, we can't have you doing this anymore. Whew. Mr. Glutton, that's his name. Yeah, Mr. Glutton needs to go. I think that's one way of looking at it. So I think this is pretty cool. But this also kind of ties into another thing, is how much promotion are the Ultra Beasts going to be getting? Because now they're getting all kinds of support. Like in the TCG, they're actually classified as an Ultra Beast, which means that they have support cards. They play with other things that call for that Ultra Beast and stuff. We have Naganadel right now. We have the Poipole as well. So we're starting to get all of the Ultra Beasts with TCG support, and we're coming up on Nintendo Switch game. What's going to happen with them? And then we also have to think about just how everything works overall. There's an Ultra Necrozma coming out. So Ultra Necrozma, I mean, pretty sure we just call Necrozma an Ultra Beast. I did a video covering it. There's still like some ambiguity to it, but it looks like with the recent sets, as a Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Necrozma is an Ultra Beast. I think that's kind of like what Game Freak is going for. Pokemon Sun and Moon, it already existed on the Earth, so maybe we didn't have enough information about it, even though I think Game Freak put in the little hints, like, oh, but it has all prime numbers in its stats, so it could suggest that's an Ultra Beast. And now Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, it becomes all Ultra, it goes into the form, it has more of a direct relation with the Ultra Beast. So yeah, let's just go and call it an Ultra Beast right now. So that's actually branching out in just the same kind of like TCG generation, which is kind of weird to think about, but then kind of developing as we go. So it seems like the Ultra Beasts, they've gotten a lot more development like outside of the games, it feels, that all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this is how the Ultra Beasts do, this is what the information is about them and stuff. And then it's like, okay, so we have to kind of figure it out for ourselves, and then we learn to kind of see what's going on with these guys. But now what happens? Because we have this trailer, you know, this is showing off Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. But Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is the game immediately before the Nintendo Switch game, which is looking to be 8th generation, could be a remake, but how do you do this? This seems like very specific situations. The Alola region having crazy testing going on, being plagued by these ultra wormholes and these ultra beings, being able to force these Ultra Beast encounters by using the native legendary Pokemon. It seems like it's going to be hard to get going because they were able to transition Mega Evolution really well from the 6th generation. I think the only thing that's somewhat comparable to this is Mega Evolution. Then we have like this crazy new mechanic. It has to integrate as a part of the Pokemon world now. And I'm actually wondering if Game Freak might be thinking about retconning Ultra Beast just because of how they were introduced and what they could potentially mean. Because Ultra Beasts, they're part of Alola, and they don't technically exist in our world, so depending on what timeline, you know, what happens if we're just playing in a timeline before the Ultra Beasts started becoming as much of an issue in the 7th generation or in the Alola region. So the 8th generation is in a different timeline. We've seen Pokemon games do that. I think the 1st and 3rd generation are on the same timeline, even though there's like different Pokemon regions and stuff going on. So because of that, I'm wondering if that means, like, we could either have a game before Ultra Beasts, or we just don't count them anymore. Like, even though they are registered in the Pokedex, Ultra Beasts aren't technically Pokemon, therefore, it's okay that we don't have them anymore. Like, it's like, it was like it was an anomaly, wow, I can't English. It was an anomaly, and then, you know, some people have them, some people are trying to save our world from them, but let's just not worry about them, you know? Just create an area where Ultra Beasts aren't usable. Like with the 6th generation and Mega Evolutions, you can transition Mega Evolution. That's this new power, you get the Keystones, you find all these Mega Stones, you can import them in, and it's like, oh hey Lucario, yeah, we knew for like, we didn't know this about you for five generations, 6th generation we found out, so yeah, it's like now, here you go, here's your Mega Stone, now go evolve and destroy everything. I think that they could go with that a lot easier than being like, well, now a random Warpole has to open up in the post-game of every Pokemon game now, and then we have Blacephalon, Stakataka, Poipole, Nincandidel, we have all these Pokemon that were, well, it's also weird to think about how the Ultra Beast ended up going at the same time, because Ultra Beasts, they started off as like very exclusive encounters. You got 2 to 4 of them and then 1 Guzzlord, but now you can kind of get as many of them as you want. The new wave of Ultra Beasts that were introduced, you can get only a limited amount of them. Poipole's an event, you get 2 Blacephalon, 2 Stakataka. So in the next game, are they just all going to be unlimited in the same way? Like, I would be okay with the Ultra Warp Ride returning, but then what happens? Like, if we have a new generation, does that mean a new generation of Ultra Beasts? Are Ultra Beasts now a parallel kind of like the split we have with the Pokedex, where, well, now we have to have some new Ultra Beasts being introduced, we have to have some new Pokemon, maybe a Mega Evolution to splash in for that fan service, because people still want the Mega Evolutions. And what happens with Z moves, all these new regional variants, are they going to be regional variants for all the regions? So I think that could be another way that Game Freak could take this. Like, okay, so the Alola forms, they're just going to die off. Alolan forms aren't going to exist anymore after the 7th generation. And then there's going to be like the Sinnoh form, or the next region form, where it's like, okay, we have some of the older Pokemon coming in and adapting to this new region. It's a regional variant and not necessarily Alolan. I think that's kind of like some of the discussion that we're working with right now. But yeah, like, that's why I found it strange with this trailer showing so much of the Ultra Beasts. We're getting so much information about the Ultra Beasts, but in less than a year, we're going into a new console with a new Pokemon game. So how are they going to carry over? And then again, looking at all of this promotion that we had for the Pokemon Center, yeah, we're getting TCG. They're getting a late, I think they're getting late adoption just because they're so complex. You can't just be like, here's everything to learn about the Ultra Beasts and Pokemon Sun and Moon. Makes it less exciting. Even with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you kind of have to build in on them. They are very powerful. They are very dangerous. They are special. It's not like your average Pokemon, so you have to build a TCG set around them. You have to build product merchandise around them. You can't just drop them all at once. Then you're overwhelming people with the normal stuff and then the very special fancy stuff. So I think that's kind of what I have to see right there. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Like, what is going on here? Is this Ultra Beast stuff always here to stay, or do you think there's actually a chance that even with all this recent promotion, that's going to be irrelevant pretty soon? I honestly don't know, guys. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.